You know, this has been an overwhelming experience. And very humbling. I got a lot of people to thank. I got a few things I want to do. I went through this a week ago now. And sitting up here is not something that I'm comfortable with. I don't like the limelight, and I sure don't like speaking in public. And so for about 2 months, from the time that I found out about getting this award, I agonized over it, lost sleep over it, and you know, I realized that it's been a long journey. I took some time to go through all the wonderful scrapbooks that my lovely wife put together, and that's when it something that really kind of set in everything that was going on. You know, I realized that you know, you don't go into anything thinking that you're going to get an award on this, and you just go about chasing your passion, and that's what the passion of golf has been to me. It's a journey that started 51 years ago, and I was not blessed with, as my lovely wife said, I was not blessed with, I think I've been blessed with wonderful golf swing and talent. I once had a frustrated competitor one time called me the worst driver of the golf ball that ever won a golf tournament that he'd ever seen. But God did bless me with some things, and he's the first person I want to thank him. You don't realize when you're 12 years old that that somebody is watching over you. You find out later in life when you look back, that's really when it happened. At least it happened to me. And there was a divine intervention that that there was a divine intervention that because the stuff that happened to me wouldn't have happened. I'm not talking about lucky bounces. I'm not talking about things like that. I'm just talking about a guiding hand that gave you, people that gave you somebody that gave you the talent that you have, the things that Brenda talked about, the opportunities, the doors that were open, the different things that would have happened, and you realize as you go through life that it wasn't just you. I told a story at the in my induction ceremony last year. I had my parents had a good friend that was that drew a cartoon, and it was a Charlie Brown Linus cartoon, and in that cartoon it said Charlie Brown or Linus, one of them was saying to the other one that, and they were contemplating. They said, "Do you really think God cares who wins a golf tournament?" And I had that down in our basement for a long time. My wife decorated it, and Brenda decorated it. It was there, right in the middle of it. She probably put it there for a reason. But the reality is I do believe God does care, and I think He cares so long as it's done in a way that would glorify Him. And as I said in my speech, and close with my speech, I pray every day now that God gives me an opportunity, whether it's on the golf course or off, that I have the opportunity to glorify Him. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Him. I also wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my wife. She wasn't there at the beginning. You know, I was talking to Christy Wilson tonight. There were some people here in this room, and this is a special group of people tonight, and I'll get to you guys in a minute, but they were there from the beginning. Even before some of I saw her tonight, I said, you know what, you were there. You were there from the absolute. I grew up next door to Christy. Christy and I we lived next door to each other. She saw that I came back from winning the golf tournament. She saw me sitting out in front of in my yard, chipping golf balls, doing whatever I was going to do. She saw that, and that really, solidified so many things in my life of what the people in this room mean to me. And again, I'll kind of get to that in a minute. But my wife she walked into my life when I was probably a fairly lost soul. I don't think I ever was really lost, but she knew what she was getting into early on in her life. She said I was deliberate, in making my decision. Well, maybe so. Maybe it was because I was too self-centered, whatever it might be. But thank God that I did make that decision, because I'm truly here today because of her. It was in 1980 that we met. That's really 6 years into my winning tournaments. Well, I won a lot of tournaments after that. And I won a lot of tournaments after that for one reason, and that's because of her support, her talks, whatever it might be. As I said in my speech in Louisville, she was my biggest cheerleader, and she was also my consoler in chief. She was there when I won. She was there when I lost. And she kept me humble. She kept me level-headed. She did everything that she could possibly do. And as I said in my speech in Louisville, she's the true Hall of Famer in our household. I can assure you of that. I also thank my children. I made a mention in my speech that you only get mulligans in golf. You don't get mulligans in golf. And all you can do is, if I had to look back on it, I would have tried to figure out a better balance between life, golf and family and work. But as I said, you don't get mulligans. You just got to learn from it and move on. My wife sacrificed a lot. My kids sacrificed a lot as well, because I was on the golf course practicing and everything else for pretty much 6 months out of the year for a long time. And guys, I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to pursue my passion and my dream. Thank you very much. I thanked a lot of other people that were there that night. And before I get to that, let me just, and I guess maybe this is the only pat on the back that I'll give myself tonight is when I found out that I got accepted. I took the opportunity. Brenda's already alluded to this, but I took the opportunity to pretty much for the first time to really look down. I've been part of the Kentucky Golf Association for a long time, and I looked down the list, and I saw a lot of names on that list that I knew. Saw a lot of names I didn't know. A lot of names that I'd known and become in contact with through all the years. People who had made major impacts on my life as far as the game of golf or whatever. People who had not only taught me that I admired, that I taught me how to play the game, how to respect the game, because I think that's something that we lose a little bit in this day-to-day stuff. How to really respect this game. It's a different deal. But it wasn't until I looked down at the bottom of that list, or toward the end of the list, and I saw Russ and Kenny Perry, Russ Cochran and Kenny Perry. These are guys I grew up with, I competed against. They're my friends. They're still my friends. And you realize that you're one of only 3 people from Western Kentucky that have made it to the Hall of Fame. And 2 of them are 2 of the best golfers in the world. It wasn't lost on me that happened. But again, that's the only thing I'm going to say tonight about what I think this means to me. As I was trying to figure out what to say last week, I ran across a quote, and it said, "Focus on the journey, don't focus on the destination." And there's a lot of people who've said that in different ways and everything else. And that kind of allowed me to figure out what to say. And it really wasn't about all the stories that have happened to me. People don't care about that. It was really just my opportunity to publicly thank the people who have made this possible. I talked about Brenda. I talked about God. I talked about my mom and dad and how my dad gave me the passion for this game. If anybody was more passionate about this game than I am, it's him. And I wish he could be here tonight. And I wish he could have been here last week. My mom was there, 89 years old. She was never really out on the golf course. She was always a person who was more worried. She was my moral compass. She was more worried about how I acted on a golf course than what I shot. She used to refer to me. She'd come home. I'm much better now, but I had a horrible temper growing up. It's just disgusting as you look back on it. But I also have a belief that if you don't have fire in your belly, you're never going to get it. You can always control it. I told my son that one time. You can't put it in you if you don't already have it. But she always, first thing out of her mouth when I would come home is this was in the time of Tom Weiskopf, who was probably one of the guys that had the worst temper in the world. She always asked me how many terrible Tommies I had that day at dinner. And as I look back on it, it was probably the best thing I ever did was be able to get to a point where I could say none. And that was fun. So they were there. I talked about all my friends. I had family and friends, my closest, my closest friends, my in-laws who embraced me all these years, never even picked up a golf club in their lives, and now half of them just love the game more than I do, I think. I talked about them and how they were there. We had 54 people in Louisville last week, and it just was phenomenal that was there. But it was really an opportunity to say thank you to all those people. And as I was trying to figure out how to end this tonight, first of all, I want to thank the board of directors. I want to thank the golf committee. I want to thank everybody for doing this. It's beyond it's overwhelming that all you all would be here. I grew up, again, 51 years ago my journey started. It started at Paxton Park and it started at Rolling Hills. And in 1980, I joined this club. And from that point forward, you've been my family. You've supported me. Some of you have been here the whole time. Some of you came on later. You've supported me. You put up with my Jimmy Brown rough that I had back in 1980 or something like that. We got one of the great, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the support and the encouragement and the cheers and the everything that you all done to support. Again, that's 38 years of a 51-year journey. I've been right here at the Country Club of Paducah. And it's been overwhelming to me, again, that you all have continued to do that. And ladies and gentlemen, we got one of the greatest facilities that you could ever imagine. We have come a long way in those, I guess it's been 39 years now, out here. I don't think our future has ever looked brighter. When you look at the group of people that we have, Chad, and this is don't get me wrong, this is no reflection on who's been here in the past. Okay, it's where we are today. When you look at Chad, what he's done in just the 2 short years that he's been here, where Larry Hanlon got our golf course to, and now we can turn it over to Shannon Watson. Guys, you won't, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, whatever it is, it's going to be unbelievable. And I just want to encourage everybody to embrace that and realize that we've got one unbelievable opportunity. It's just a gem. It's a gem, and it is in the western part of the state. Granted, we got I also want to tell you, we got the state am down here next year. And I want to encourage your friends, anybody that can qualify, do whatever you can. Come out here, watch this thing. We got to support. We just don't get those opportunities, But I just can't tell you how much it means to me to have you all here tonight. It's just amazing. I am just overwhelmed. I'm humbled. As I closed out my speech last week, I stand before you a humbled man. It is just amazing. And at the time, it was in the middle of the Mega Mania and everything that was going on. And I closed out by saying, you know, the Hall of Fame to me has always been kind of like a lottery ticket. You know, you buy it, and then all of a sudden you think about what opportunity, you know, what it might end up meaning to you, but you never win. Well, tonight I'm holding the, you know, last week and tonight I'm holding the winning ticket, and for that I am sincerely appreciative and humbled and overwhelmed. Thank you very much.